Oh man, another week. And obviously, more L's for games. It keeps happening, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's bad. It's bad. Change the music before I forget. I'm still in a Temple Ruins kind of mood. Pretty good song, what can you say? I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it, I think it's fun. Yeah, we have a super stuff for today. This might be shorter than usual, but please bear with me. I think most of this is actually important. But we're going to start with something that relates a little bit. Some stuff we were talking about the other day. And that is the Crow movie. Some people have seen it already, and I have no interest in watching it. I do have here a kind of an interesting review of the movie. So we're gonna read it. Before that, check that everything is running properly here. I think so, but just in case. Okay, there we go. This is my browser. So we have here from Puzzle Reviews, which, I mean, it's just a guy reviewing stuff, right? I don't know how good he is, but there are a couple of interesting tidbits here and there. So let's go through it. I saw the new Crow movie. Here are my miscellaneous thoughts on it. The Crow, 1994. Came out during the peak of goth culture and new metal. New metal? This is probably a misnomer. It's okay, I guess. It was the perfect time for a movie like that. Even though it's really dated now, it has a distinct flavor to it and represents a time period, being a reflection of what everyone thought was cool back then. I don't really think it's dated now. But that's just me. The Crow 2024 takes place in modern times. Back it up. Back it up, guys. That's already bad. But the soundtrack is all over the place, featuring 80s synthwave and post-punk. It has no identity of its own, which I guess is fitting because it typifies today's stagnant culture. That is actually a really interesting point, right? Nowadays, when everything is about identity, it has no identity of its own. Such is life. Such is life. I think that's a strange mix between interesting and funny. It also doesn't help that 2024 Crow is so slow. 1994 Crow started in media res with the aftermath of Eric's murder, and everything leading up to it was revealed through flashbacks over the course of the movie. Spoilers, I'm sorry. In 2024 Crow, very little happens for the first half of the movie, leading up to Eric's murder, which happens around the midpoint. That is way too late. The meat and potatoes is what happens after that. At least in the first movie. Most of the time before then is spent playing out the romance between him and Shelley, and the movie insists that they are so madly in love that they would die for each other after having known each other for a grand total of 2 days. This is peak 90s. To be fair, that is peak 90s. It's really unbelievable in current society. The bulk of the action in 2024 Crow is in the second half, and the centerpiece of the movie is this John Wick-like rampage through an opera house where Eric kills a bunch of the bad guy's bodyguards with his samurai sword, while getting shot repeatedly. That scene features a lot of guy with gun walks up to within stabbing range of guy with sword. Since he can't die, there really isn't any tension, because the only thing at the stake is he might get delayed in getting revenge on the bad guy for killing Shelley. Wow. So good, huh? So interesting. What the hell? That's the problem when you have an immortal main character. Getting the stakes in a different way. One of the fundamental problems with having an unkillable protagonist is that they can never be in any real danger, and this makes it difficult to write suspense and tension into action scenes. 1994 Crow overcomes this problem by recruiting Eric to protect a girl named Sarah. Eric himself might be unkillable, but he still has to protect the people he cares about who are very much vulnerable to his enemies. So tension can be introduced by having the bad guy threaten them. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're too strong to be threatened by the bad guy, while you have people that you like that are not as strong. Just a classic. While it's true that Eric has to kill the bad guy to get Shelly's soul out of hell in 2024 Crow, there's nothing suggesting he couldn't do that at any time. So if the bad guy gets away, he could just track him down again later. But even that's hypothetical because the bad guy doesn't even intend to get away. But why? But why? That doesn't make any sense to me. This feels just like a nonsensical movie because, oh, my nostalgia. So bad. While Shelly was sort of a non-character who we only saw in flashbacks in 1994 Crow, and was more of a plot device to motivate Eric, since he is, you know, the protagonist, Shelly takes the dominant role in 2024 Crow. Why though? For the first half of the movie, Eric is an almost totally passive character who doesn't take any initiative, whilst Shelly essentially acts as the main character up until she dies. Grenier. She's a strong, independent woman that doesn't need no man until she dies, I guess. I think this may be a consequence of the women in refrigerators trope, which the writers wanted to consciously subvert. That is always bad. That is always bad, okay? If the writers are trying to consciously subvert a trope, it's probably ass. Because they were afraid of looking sexist. You can't just write a movie about a guy avenging his murdered girlfriend anymore. The girlfriend has to take center stage and pull narrative attention, and therefore character development, away from the protagonist. I mean, if this was a story about avenging your boyfriend's death, sure. But that's not the case, it doesn't make any sense to me. One of the biggest problems with modern writing is everything feels like a story written about a franchise, rather than a story set within the universe of a franchise. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I cannot explain it any better than this. But I completely understand, and I'm willing to agree with this guy. Everything is now written with this hyper self-aware mentality, where every creative decision is based. There's nothing based in here. Not on what will feel organic or logical to the story, but on whether or not the audience will expect it or how they will react to it. Yes, they're not. It's not art for the sake of art. It's art because we have to sell it to a bunch of morning clowns. Being a massive problem lately, and it's not gonna get any better soon at least. It is that bad, okay? It is that bad. Everything now is either do this because the audience expects it, or do this because the audience doesn't expect it. And whether or not it makes sense to the story being told, or even feels right, is irrelevant. And that reminds me a little bit of the Danjo Mishi interview from the other week, where you had the other saying, well, I don't really care too much about what the audience is expecting or what the audience thinks. I'm just trying to write things that make sense. Imagine why people end up going back to Japanese media. Oh! So surprising. I guess in that sense, 2024 Crow is perfect. If 1994 Crow represented the time period it came out in, 2024 Crow does the same thing because it feels like yet another shallow cash grab, made by people who feel nothing but contempt for the source material. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. If we end up with a lot of free time at the end, I might bring up some stuff about the Rings of Power. It's not good either. Made with committee thinking and not a single creative voice. Yes. Yes, I fully agree with this. I fully agree with this. So strange to me. So strange to me. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of today. Do you want to take W's or do you want to take L's? Well, apparently, big companies just want to take L's constantly. Bandai Namco, why are you like this? Why are you like this? Let me love you. Let me love you, but you don't want that. It's so bad. We have this thing from Pucker Girl. What the fuck? From Bandai Namco's aiming for global expression too. de&i initiatives. That is already bad. CEDEC 2024 panel Quality Assurance Rep Okuma Mirai revealed the 4 points of the developers' in-house de&i training. Bandai Namco, please, I beg of you, stop it. Stop it. The only thing you need to do for people to love you is just ignore this shit and start releasing in the West Gundam games and Tales of games. You're gonna be loved. That's everything you need to do. And yes, I know, I understand. They just announced Tales of Graces F Remastered. But then you give me this, you know? Then you give me this. I don't like it. We can see here in the image. It's a little bit small, okay? But we can see here. Lokaraisu. Yeah, I don't know. Remote work. I mean, sure, I guess. I think that's a big deal. We have a thread here. I think it's interesting. Not in a good way, but still. After hair, it was shown that human hair shapes vary greatly by race and individual. They're also influenced by the humidity of the country or region one lives in, but can be broadly divided into 3 types: straight hair, wavy hair, and curly hair. And we have it in here. Straight, wavy, curly. Wow. That is so cool. Is it though? Is it cool? I don't know. I mean, by itself is just okay. We're talking about de&i. Sounds stupid. Feels a little bit stupid. More than a little bit, actually. Because all of this, at the end of the day, is just my representation. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous to me. Character gender. It was explained that a person's gender is determined by 4 elements: biological sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, and gender expression. And that a person's gender is expressed by a combination of these elements. Is it 2024 or is it 2016? This is a fair question. This is the kind of fucking brain rot I was looking at on the YouTube machine back in the mid-2010s. And they would tell you, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That is just a bunch of BS. That's just crazy people on the internet. This is not crazy people on the internet. This is Bandai Namco. And it's absolutely hilarious because even if we were to give any, how to say this, if we were to give any trust to gender ideology, which I don't, this doesn't make any sense either. Sex characteristics, okay. Gender identity, okay. Sexual orientation doesn't make any sense. Being gay wouldn't be gender. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. And gender expression, which to this day I'm still not quite sure what exactly it entails. But I do remember people saying stuff like your clothing and whatnot. I'm gonna be real. Wearing dresses, despite what people might say nowadays, is not a gender. This doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, if you agree with gender ideology, heterogender should be only this thing here, gender identity. But even that is just a bunch of BS. I have more screenshots here. Holy shit. Oh man. Here we have sexual orientation on the left, gender identity on the right. Sexual orientation. This makes sense. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, straight, and asexual. Okay. Sure. Gender identity. This doesn't make any sense. Transgender. Okay, sure, I guess, I suppose. Cisgender. No one self-identifies as cisgender. No one with a brain, at least. X-gender. I didn't know that Twitter was gender now. What happened? I didn't know Elon Musk was this cringe. And queer/questioning. Which I don't think they're the same. And at the same time, I'm pretty sure that queer nowadays is just political identity. Doesn't make any sense to me. Here we have more points, but in Japanese. Then you just keep explaining, I guess. Third point is... This other point in differences in culture could explain the budget localization problems. You think? You think. Third point is about differences in culture and values. For example, Hotaru no Hikari is a song played at ending scenes such as graduations and the end of the year in Japan, while in America it is a song played at celebratory scenes such as weddings and the New Year. It was shown that there are things that are treated differently depending on the culture of each country or region. Therefore, if we take our common sense and values overseas as they are, they may be perceived as strange, so we need to carefully consider them. And God forbid, we learn just a little bit, about a different culture. Why would you do that? I don't know. Omurice? No, it was just steak, don't worry about it. Mochi? Nah, it was not mochi. It was ice cream with mushrooms. Don't worry about it. It only makes sense. In terms of differences in culture and values, differences in context culture are also shown. Japanese culture's high context, as exemplified by actions such as guessing and reading between the lines, and permits communication without saying much, based on a common understanding. On the other hand, Western culture's low context, starting from a place of no common understanding and placing emphasis on verbal expression, which is due to the fact that Western countries are multi-ethnic countries with immigrants and other factors. Therefore, it was shown that simply translating Japanese lines and explanations into the local language may not be interpreted well due to a lack of words. I don't think that is the case, and I do believe there are many things wrong with this. First of all, even if I do agree that Western culture is lower context than Japanese culture, it's not because Western countries are multi-ethnic countries with immigrants and other factors. It's because the West is not a single country. You won't have the same culture in Germany, in the US, in Canada, in France, or in the UK. And also at the same time, usually, at least traditionally, the West is individualistic, while the East, especially Japan, is collectivistic. That's also the main difference. Doesn't have to do anything with immigrants. Translating Japanese lines and explanations to local language might not be interpreted well. I don't think it's just the lack of words. You can explain it. Cultural differences? That's okay. Why don't we know more about them? Nah, don't worry about it. Jelly-filled donuts. There was another image. No, there was not. That was the second one. My bad. I'm a little bit slow. Accessibility. This is gonna be bad. Our level concept that includes usability, which indicates ease of use, and barrier-free, which removes obstacles. In the case of games, it means eliminating difficulties in playing and providing an environment where everyone can play easily. Easily. That's really telling. Yes, they may make the games more simple and easier. I don't like that. Have some screenshots here. Accessibility. Barrier free. Usability. Sure, but barrier free could mean many things, and it's probably gonna be the least charitable definition of it. Everyone should have access to it. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you actually need a brain to play games. How about that one? Something worth noting. Jackman pointed out that there are scenes and situations where de&i-related expressions are not necessarily necessary, and that in particular, in order to protect the worldview and setting of the context, it's better not to express them. They are censoring themselves. Once again. Sega told us, and it is true. So as. Well, points out if you do not understand the AI well, you will not be able to properly select the expressions necessary for the content. In other words, there's a risk that you will ignore the feedback you receive because you do not understand it. That doesn't have to do with DI though. But sure, I guess. You will do as you are told because you do not understand it. In particular, the latter can cause big problems. The latter is causing big problems because people don't understand what's going on. For example, if there's a game setting in a school with about 20 students in the countryside of Japan, if more than half of the characters are foreigners, even if it's correct form, I know how to read, I promise. Even if it's correct from a DI perspective, it will be extremely unnatural in reality. You're so close to understanding. They're so close to understanding. Yes, once again, DI is affirmative action. It's the most wretched form of affirmative action I've seen yet. Yes, if it is the countryside in Japan, there's no way you're gonna have a bunch of foreigners. Maybe you have a couple. That can happen, I guess, I suppose. That wouldn't be strange. But they will tell you, it is correct from a DI perspective, but it is extremely unnatural in reality. How many times? How many times do I have to say this? Yes, they're trying to rewrite your perception of reality. So as. Of course, if there is a necessity that everyone can understand, there's no problem. But if there is no particular intention or reason, or even if there is an intention or reason, but there is no necessity, it will give the impression that we try to consider diversity for the time being, which is not good. That's what DEI is about, though. that's what DEI is about. Performative diversity. At the end of the day, they don't give a fuck. The big corporations at least. It's just, we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna get free money, and we're gonna get brownie points. They're still getting free money? Brownie points now? We have some stuff for Dustborn later, don't worry about it. Pokemon pointed out there are scenes and situations where DEI-related expressions are not necessarily necessary, and in particular, in order to protect the worldview and setting of the content, it is better not to express them. He concluded it is important to properly understand DEI and expressions in order to be able to make such judgments and to determine the direction of the content you are involved in. If you're making a game, why the fuck do you care about real world? That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's supposed to be your thing. It's supposed to be your game. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. Also, once again, even if you're worried about the real world, which in some cases I understand, because all this is based on real world, this is based on history, etc. Once again, 20 students in the countryside of Japan, if more than half of the characters are foreigners, even if it is scripted from a DEI perspective, it will be extremely unnatural in reality. They're so close to understand that. They're so close. Ever since motherfuckers, who more than likely don't play the game, bitching about dreadlocks equals diversity epiphany. I'm all for customization, but Jesus fucking Christ, this is ridiculous. Here's a sharing episode where dreadlocks, one of the hairstyles that can be selected in the character creation of Blue Protocol, was added in response to feedback from overseas partners. Funny. Overseas partners. Who exactly are those partners? I have no idea, but I don't think those are players. Not just players, at least. Okuma said that when he first I guess it's she is, machine translation, please understand. Low context after all. Well, high context, but... yeah, high context. That's what I tried to say. Okuma said that when she first experienced the feedback, that there's no representation of that in the game, she was shocked and thought, so that's what diversity is? Is it? Is it though? That not being represented not only means that the need for self-expression is not met, but it may also be that the identities of the many players are not imagined. And I realize that not expressing something may nullify the existence of a certain person, even before it leads to discrimination. Nullify the existence of a certain person. Games are not that powerful, okay? Despite what they try to tell you, they are not as powerful. And look, I understand trying to give variety for character creation, but at the same time, you shouldn't be worrying yourself about the need for self-expression or the identities of the many players. Right? I don't know, let's say, don't know too much about the game, but I'm gonna give a what might be, for example, let's say Genshin Impact, Chinese game, and a bunch of the characters in a bunch of the regions are based on Asian places. Nothing wrong with that. But if you suddenly have a character creator, which I don't think that's the case, and you have the option for Afro hairstyle, it's gonna feel really out of place. Not necessarily wrong, but it's gonna feel out of place. Once again, yes, you're gonna have black players, but the setting is the setting, and yes, I know they keep adding new regions with but they're supposed to be Latin Americans, why they're so white? I've seen that one. It is still stupid though. Once again, we have this need for self-expression. Really? really, in current year, do you think people need self-expression in video games? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. If anything, we have too much self-expression now. And yeah, this is the end of it. That's a nice cat, though. Very nice cat. And this is so funny to me. This is so funny to me because they mentioned here Blue Protocol and the dreadlocks. Speaking of Blue Protocol, this is in Japanese. English announcement! We regret to inform you that the Japanese version of Blue Protocol will be discontinued on Saturday, January 18th, 2025. As a result, we have also cancelled our plans to release a Western version of the game in collaboration with Amazon Games. I'm not gonna say this was because of de&i, because it probably wasn't, but the timing is still delicious and tangent, you know what I'm saying. We know there has been great anticipation for Blue Protocol since the first announcement of the game. We wanted to deliver an experience that is like stepping into the world of anime, and we have been challenging ourselves to create a world where each and every player can enjoy adventures as the main character of the anime. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe you spread yourselves too thin to appeal to the West. We have worked hard to prepare for the release. However, we have come to the conclusion that it will not be possible to provide a service that satisfies all of you. We deeply apologize for this sudden announcement. And it's also funny, because I remember people bitching and moaning about this game. Was it last year? Earlier this year? It's been a while, I don't remember. Because, oh, lo and behold, it was censored in the West. It was just censored in the West. So sad. It is so sad, man. And after seeing this, MMOs might be dead for good. Oh, but you have Final Fantasy 14. I don't give a fuck about 14, dude. Isn't the kind of people that play it. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. This is just another grim reminder that everything that is live service is going to die. It's going to leave you absolutely devastated. But this is not the only one. Let me show you. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius global version shutting down this fall. I played this game for a while. I think it's an okay game. I don't know all of the ins and outs of it, but I thought it was actually a pretty good gacha game. It doesn't happen often. And Square Enix has announced the worldwide version of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is shutting down after nearly what? Nearly years of service. I think it's close to 8 or 9. That's fine. That's a long time for a gacha game, actually. The global version of the popular free-to-play RPG is shutting down on October 30th. Just in 2 months. But the Japanese version will remain online. Funny how that works. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius was originally released way back in 2015 in Japan for iOS, in the App Store, and Android via Google Play, with a global release a year later in 2016. Here's the word from Square Enix on the closure. Thank you for playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. We regret to announce we have made the difficult decision to discontinue the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius app services as of October 30th, 2024, midnight PDT. Well, that's technically midnight the next day, but it's on screen, you get it. From the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius development team, we apologize for the difficult decision, but are sincerely grateful for the support we've received from our players. Since Final Fantasy Brave Exvius' launch on June 30th, 2016, we have strived to provide an incredible, enjoyable gaming experience for our players every day that could exceed the day before. However, we've come to the conclusion that it would be difficult to continue maintaining the app experience, and to therefore end the app service. I hope you will continue to enjoy playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius until the journey ends. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius development team. Oh man! I'm not surprised. I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised. It keeps happening. It's pretty ass. It's actually pretty ass. And this is gonna keep happening if people give them money. Total gacha death. You know, to play gacha games. Okay. But I also understand that they're ass. And this will keep happening constantly. Also, I have to question once again Square Enix a little bit here. When you're getting enough money from this, I guess they're still being carried by Trunquest Walk. But this is not the only gacha game that's suffering right now. Once again, I have to remind you, do not trust the Chinese. They are not your friends. Snowbreak alters her moves and dozens of outfits for Chinese censors. Update: a statement from the producer of Snowbreak seems to imply that the censorship was done begrudgingly. I can't believe that. It was the result of a competitor causing problems for emissions season games. You can check it out here. That's threaded in its in Chinese, so no. Snowbreak and Damien Sound recently announced they would be removing or altering dozens of outfits and skins in order to comply with Chinese censors. The Chinese gacha game has made headlines in recent months after openly defying Western censors, but it seems even they can't avoid CCP regulation. Keeps happening so bad. So ass. You can check the full list of skins affected below. Users who already own these products will not be affected, according to Snowbreak. That's good. And will only affect customers who don't already own the above skins. At least they're not gonna take something that you own. I think that's okay. I mean, it's not as bad as it could be. These changes were made in order to ensure that the Snowbreak experience on both the mainland China and global servers is the same. China is not your friend. China is not your friend. Be careful. We have the full tweet. Some adjustments to certain operatives and outfits. Hello, adjutants. It is with grateful regret that we inform you that due to factors beyond our control, we'll be adjusting the design or ceasing the sale of certain operatives and outfits. In order to ensure that the Snowbreak experience on both the mainland China and global servers is the same, these changes will take effect on all servers. I think this is an L-tag from China. They could be selling more shit if they were actually appealing to what the gamers want, but alas, a massive list here. I have some screenshots. There's the OG. This is the new outfit. A little bit different. A little bit different. We have the OGs and the new ones. And it's not really that censored, but it is still censorship. Okay, I don't know what I'm looking at here. I think there's a comparison. I think this might be little sensors they added on top of that. You cannot have those. Too sexy, I'm afraid. And play the games, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell the comparisons here. Agent's debuff removal will not impact your ownership or use of the outfits if you have already purchased them, nor will it impact the related covers or avatars unlocked upon purchase. That is good. That is good. Well, that is the good within the bad. Do not mistake me. And what happens. That's what happens with China. You know? That's what I keep telling people. Do not fall for the China meme. They're not your friends. Okay, they're not your friends. And yes, sometimes the games are actually good. But at the same time, it is still Chinese propaganda. It's still Chinese propaganda. That's what why I wish people would be a little more cautious with Monkey Game. Yes, the game might be good. I still don't think China's your friend. I still don't think they got a knock on the door from them sweet babies, okay? It sounds too perfect. It sounds too perfect. Let me take a sip of my drink here. Yeah, not that cold. What the hell? What happened? But it's not only live service games that are suffering here. It's just bad in general. It's so bad. From Bloomberg. de&i Games plans to close Visions of Mana developer Oka Studios. Terminating staff to reportedly oversee final rollout of games. This is really funny because the game just released and they completely axed the studio. It's not looking good. This is not looking good. de&i Games has got over a handful of jobs at Tokyo-based subsidiary Oka Studios, which just shipped Visions of Mana under contract for Square Enix. You don't hate Square Enix enough. It was to close the studio, according to Bloomberg report, citing people familiar with the matter. This is from Bloomberg, but I mean, the information comes from Bloomberg, but this is Gematsu, okay? Like, what I said could lead to mistakes. My bad. Update! 10:40 PM. According to Bloomberg writer Takashi Mochizuki, de&i Games has been cutting staff at Oka Studios since the spring. That's not looking good. That's not looking good. Because if the game is actually good and people like the game, you cutting off the studio is gonna earn you the enmity of a lot of customers. Seems like a bad idea. But what do I know? The staff that remain at the studio will reportedly oversee the rollout of its final games. Back in 2022, 2 years after its establishment in 2020, Oka Studios outlined 3 projects that were currently in development. An action RPG featuring an adventure with unique allies, a new-style battle game based on a popular series, and an original cooperative action game featuring gigantic enemies. In an email in de&i Games representative to Bloomberg, it has nothing to announce regarding a potential closure of Oka Studios, that it is in progress at the many Japanese studios it is invested in. Is it though? In supporting studios outside China, Minecraft are strategy based on our goal of providing better gaming experiences to local and global players. I understand what they're trying to say, but this expression, I don't like it. I don't like it. I know that's just me looking too much into it, but still. The de&i and the de&i Games spokesperson said, the company is thus always making necessary adjustments to reflect market conditions. Oh god fucking damn it, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. de&i Games also owns the Toshihiro Nagoshi-led Nagoshi Studio, which is the 51-led newspaper manufacturer, and the Hiroyuki Kobayashi-led Chippy Track 50. I want to read this GPT like Chat GPT, but I don't think that's the case. Fucking Nagoshi, dude. I always thought that maybe Nagoshi was based, but maybe he was actually pretty cringe. According to Bloomberg, NetEase Games' rival Tencent is also reconsidering the pace and the scale of its investment in Japan, having already backed off from at least several funding commitments for new titles. In a statement, Tencent told Bloomberg that it remains committed to its partner studios and developing its business in Japan. I don't think that is true. I cannot think that is true anymore, honestly. And it is a really bad look when they release a game and they just kill the studio. It's not looking good. Take a look at the comments though. Well, does this suck? Didn't even get to see their game released while still in business. If this man sells really well, I wonder what NetEase will think. Again, all studios were guns for hire, so most of that sweet revenue will go to Square Enix. Oh, that makes sense then. That makes all the sense now. I didn't think about it, but yes. Yes, I get it. Sorry to hear this happen before Vision 7 launches. It's not even out yet. Holy shit. Oh lord, grasshoppers under these guys. Good lord, what world of layoffs we live in. It's not looking good. It seems that they're going to Chinese with a bad move from Suda and Nagoshi. That could be the case, that could be the case. As predicted, even by us neophytes sitting in our armchairs at the time, with Nagoshi in particular. I remember a lot of us were saying, "Hey Nagoshi, enjoy that big paycheck while it lasts." Yeah? Yeah. And speaking of money, right? Speaking of money. I'm sorry. I'm always sleepy, you know how it is. But speaking of money, yes, if you're too worried about just the money, the game is gonna be ass. But maybe sometimes that is by design. Let's hear from Grumps. Dustborn is far more government money that has been previously reported. Oh, that is interesting. The Norwegian Film Institute, which, as far as I know, Norway is not inside the European Union, that's why it's separate, funded the game for 40 million kroner, or nearly 1.4 million USD. That is in addition to the 150,000 euros from the Creative EU grants program. Dustborn is basically an Antifa training game. You bash the fash across the divided states of America. Such an apt name, I guess. By using vocal powers to call people racist. I've seen some of this game. Looks like a joke, but apparently it's played straight. I don't know what to tell you. The game has 32 players currently on its opening week. And the only people I've seen playing this, obviously it's not the only people playing, are just playing it for the memes. That's funny. Have a thread. Thread. The company, Red Thread Games, let me put this up, looks to be funding multiple games through the use of these government grants. Not surprising. Not surprising. We've seen this before. The games do not make money, as you can see from the Steam charts below for their prior games, Dreamfall Chapters and Traugen. Traugen? I don't know, I'm trying. Their existence seems to be dependent on repeated grants, wastes of taxpayer money that fund games that fail over and over. This brings me back to when we were taking a look at Weird Ghosts and how they had a list of mostly government grants to games that have diversity. Funny how that works. Dreamfall Chapters, all-time peak, 8.2 years ago, 1700. I guess that is not too bad. The peak is not too bad. 24-hour peak, 16, plays right now 2. I mean, the game is sold, so that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, there's some movement here, but Yeah. Just to be a little bit here in 2020. To cope, you know? That makes sense. Striking. All-time peak, 5.3 years ago. 240. Yeah, this is not looking good. This is actually not looking good. Surplus right now. 24-hour peak just for... Yeah. Yeah. Every game they release is worse than the last. That takes a skill, huh? That takes a skill. The company has to be grifting off EU taxpayers' money, which are awarded in part on ESG criteria. Why am I not surprised? Remember when people denied ESG grants for indies existed and called everyone a conspiracy theorist? Yeah, no, that's a thing. We've seen that many times already. At least twice. That's good enough for me. The Norwegian Film Institute focuses on productions where percentage of women in key roles is a factor. Why is that important? I have no clue. Their latest project, Svalbard, has received nearly 11 million kroner so far, a little bit over 1 million USD, and 150,000 euro more from the EU Creative Program. It continues, but take a look at this. 32 applications were received for the year's third and final award round, where 7 games received a total of Norwegian kroners. A little bit over 9.5 million, close to 9.6 million actually, in development grants from the Norwegian Film Institute. The grants were given in a decision-making meeting this week. 5 of the games are completely new projects. In this grant round, the proportion of women in key roles, producer, art lead, and game designer, is 38%. Are they good though? Are they good? They must be, right? Well, I don't know, but I'm gonna say probably not. Not because they're women. There are useful women out there, like there are useful people in general out there. Sounds so weird when I say it like that. It is pleasant to see that the proportion of women in Norwegian games is on the rise. Why does it matter? Are the games good? We also see this in the application ball in general, says Kaja Hench Underly. I don't know Norwegian, I'm sorry. Session leader for computer games at NFI. We had another one here, right? Now we have more. Svalbard. There is the EU grant for 150,000 euros, which in comparison is not a whole lot, but I've been hearing some weird stuff about Norway and the amount of money they have. Kind of scary. And here we have allocations, 2 million NOK for development, almost 1 million NOK for development, 2016. Total budget more than 10 million NOK here in 2018. And another 6 million in 2023. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Oh. But this thing never opened. That's weird. Dreamfall Chapters. Dreamfall Chapters is a third-person 3D adventure and sequel to award-winning adventure games The Longest Journey and Dreamfall. Setting in parallel worlds, a dark cyberpunk vision of the future, in a magical fantasy realm. The story follows University, not diversity, holy shit, I'm too deep into sauce already. It's about Zoe and the Swiss apostle Kian working together to unravel a conspiracy spanning multiple realities. Dreamfall Chapters is available in complete edition for PS4 and Xbox One. The Final Cut Edition is available for PC and Mac via Steam, GOG, and the Humble Store. Both versions feature improved art, sound and music, and new special features. Dreamfall Chapters was developed with support from the Norwegian Film Institute. You have Dragon here, Svalbard. We could read the synopsis. I don't care about that at this point, right? You have Dragon. It's created with the support of the Creative Europe program of the European Union the Norwegian Film Institute, and Viking Film Center. Interesting. Spotboard is created with the support of the Creative Europe program of the European Union, the Norwegian Film Institute, and Viking Film Center, and epic mega grants. Ain't that suspicious? The rest of the funding is likely through their publisher, Quantic Dream. That makes sense. In their Spotlight publishing program, Quantic Dream provides Red Thread games with additional support, including narrative work, motion capture, photogrammetry, that is a word, that is a big word, and sound design, localization, and more. This is likely provided for free in addition to whatever funding Quantic Dreams invests in Dustborn. That's probably normal, I'm gonna say. In this way, Red Thread Games can continue to grift off taxpayer money and produce games while reducing many costs. Once again, we are reminded, all of this BS is just economic tricks. Quantic Dreams was acquired by NetEase in 2022. Oh baby, does that sound familiar now? I wonder if Oka Studio had the wrong opinions. Quantic Dream, Dustborn, sure. There's no doubt here. Quantic Dream is being acquired by NetEase. The Heavy Rain developer will be the Chinese company's first European studio. NetEase has agreed to acquire Quantic Dream for an undisclosed sum. In a press release issued by the Chinese company, it was stated that the Paris-based studio behind such narrative games as Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, and Beyond Two Souls will continue to operate independently after the deal. So funny how all of that works. It is curious why Red Thread Games continues to produce games, given that none of them have garnered enough users to pay for their production. I mean, to be fair, right, to be fair, if you enjoy the games and you enjoy making them, go ahead and make them. I don't think that's the case with these people. But that's just me. It is also concerning that Dustborn has been crafted as a political agitprop tool backed by taxpayers who do not want this kind of disruption to their cultures or society. You will have to eat the slop, I'm sorry to tell you this. It is clear, the Red Thread Games does not care or depend on gamer sales for their continued existence or ability to produce, I suppose, political propaganda games. Yeah, pretty much. Their customers are not gamers, their customers are governments. That appears to be the case, because wait, there is more. There is more, it's the cow that keeps giving chocolate milk. Everyone is laughing at Norway and the EU for funding Dustborn, but a quick search shows that the US also provided 275,000 USD of funding for a new counter-disinformation game. New counter-disinformation game. Do they actually believe that the reality in Dustborn is what is actually happening? I don't think so. I don't think so. So strange to me. And you may think, oh, 275,000 is not as much. 150,000 euros is not as much. Yeah, sure. But that's close to $500,000 from the government for having the correct opinions, for making trash. Okay? And that is taxpayer money. That is your money if you live in the US or the EU. Or, obviously Norway, because they're giving a lot of money. So, yeah, it's not funny. It's not funny. And they will tell you, it's not happening. It's literally happening. It's literally happening. So Ubisoft's Watch Dogs sequel gonna take a new turn. Oh God, shut up, no. And that would be in dog whistle, I suppose. The game is literal government propaganda. Actually, yes, it's literal government propaganda. Why is the government so hell-bent into telling you about the divided States of America? Divide and conquer, I suppose. On the strat, but it checks out. That's wrong is so stupid. If you told me it was a shitpost and the developers made it as a joke, I'd believe it. We're the Dustborn, we're the new porn! Disgusting. I could write something like this because it's funny, not because I was serious. Yeah. Yeah, things are so bad that you cannot distinguish what is sarcasm and what is actually being played straight. It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. No, and do I have to play this shit now? I don't want to, okay? I've seen snippets. It was just a snippet on the side. The game is really poorly optimized. Not surprising. But I'm gonna tell you this. I will never pay for this. I will never pay for this shit. They don't deserve even a single penny. But you know who might deserve some money? A guy, I presume is Polish, called Arthur. Doesn't sound like a Polish name, but the surname is really Polish. So let's get to the next news here. From the Park Place. That Park Place, my bad. Soulish 2, developer refused to cater to LGBTQ plus mob trying to cancel the game. There's nothing to fear from the oppressive mob trying to force their ideology. I assume a little bit about this game. Just the brief description on Steam. It can be actually pretty interesting. It's like a mix between survival, strategy, and roguelite. I wanted to check it out. It's like $18 now. So I'm a little bit apprehensive. But I do believe this guy probably deserves it. So still developer Arthur Smirowski. Yeah. If the guy is not Polish, this is Slavic, obviously. Refused to cater to the LGBTQ plus mob trying to cancel the game after he refused to include LGBTQ plus relationships in the game. I've seen this developed through the week. It was a beautiful disaster. And the graphics are nothing crazy, but that's fine. I do enjoy the pixel art. It's okay. On August 15th, Smirowski shared an updated title, Married with Children, where he revealed, I had the first of the two parts of the family feature. That's interesting. Where you can start your new family in your settlement. Marry someone to move to your town and family and have children with them. He continued, by having your own family, you can also start working at your building as another way to generate wealth, treat your potential, or just progress the world by a couple of years while ensuring your legacy lives on after your inevitable doom. Sure, there's some screenshots of the game here. Indie stuff, looks like in the game. Nothing wrong with that. Confirm marriage, how dare you. In the discussion of the update, Steam user 2023 swore impressive. The hell? Questioned. Hey Arthur, thank you for your hard work. I'm a queer fan of your game. Red flag already. I wanted to ask if same-sex relationships will be possible in the future updates. I know there are devs like the ones who made Medieval Dynasty said they consider it too late to put into the game. I just wanted to see if it was something on your radar, or if it would be safe for you to implement in the future. Just like Assassin's Creed, all over again. You're not gonna make baby. If you're gay, you're not gonna make baby. And I think that's the point of the mechanic. Yes, I concluded. Thank you for your time and dedication to this game and this community. To be fair, the question is polite. And the response is also pretty normal. Smirowski responded, I'm gonna read it here, from the screenshot, so you know there's nothing wrong with the text. The main purpose of the family system is to create the legacy through children, and giving her limited ways to interact with NPCs. I don't think there's a good way to represent relationships, so I don't plan to spend that right now. Maybe at some point. You never know, right? More extended interactions were something that some players wished was a bigger focus of the game, but unfortunately, it would take a long time and probably the rule of the conversations and dialogue systems to turn Soulish 2 into The Sims, as well as the other games I'm already trying to mix. Understandable. It's a new game. We're gonna have to see if I ever get excited about it, but right now, I'm not too pumped to go toward to delay it any further. Reasonable. He wants to push out the next update. Makes sense to me. You don't want that to be in limbo forever. Beginning on August 22nd, a number of LGBTQ+ activists began posting negative reviews of the game, giving Smirowski indicated he would not be including disorder. You don't need to say that. LGBTQ+ relationships in the game. Because, to be fair, it's not relationships, it's families, it's making baby. It's truly mostly mechanic. That's okay. The reviews began when 2023 Zoran Press wrote, "Developer banned me from the Soulish 2 community for asking him to implement same-sex marriage in the same way he implemented heterosexual relationships." I'm pretty sure this is not what happened, and I'm pretty sure this is not what you said. They're just trying to stir shit here. So bad. It's so bad. This user then claimed he enabled his community to harass me with homophobic rhetoric, which they still do to this very day. Can't recommend supporting this game, with a clear stance by the dev and his community against the LGBTQ+ player base. This is going to bite you in the ass. And it already did, it's so funny. Addendum, I'm disappointed in the road the developer is currently taking, trying to spin the narrative of an organized gay review bomb, when the reality is he destroyed his current community for money and replaced them with people with hate in their hearts, without a second thought. The people he might hurt in doing so. Do better, Arthur. Do better. They always say that. You know what? I don't want to do better. I want to do my thing. And Arthur is doing his thing here. That's always pretty cool. That's always pretty cool. And notice of bang. It's unlucky that we cannot click that one. I've been interested to see if that's what happened or not. So, but also, people with hate in their hearts. Perhaps the same could be said of all clowns on social media. Zelda Snow wrote, "I had high hopes for the further development of this game, as it appears to have great potential. Unfortunately, I can't recommend to support this game when its developer is signaling racist and anti-LGBT politics in his design choices." Or maybe he just don't want politics in the game. Whoa, no way, dude! That cannot happen, it's current year! What do you mean? So silly. It's just so silly. It seems to me fairly simple to unlock the marriage system to allow players to form interracial or same-sex marriages with NPCs, the user added. There need not be any restrictions on the player's freedom to develop our worlds the way we like, and implementing this as a hard-coded restriction is a clear statement of catering towards the biases or preferences of a certain section of the player base to the exclusion of another. Okay. I'm pretty sure Arthur mentioned at some point that it would be weird to make for a development point of view because of how inheritance works. Also, at the same time, there need not be any restrictions on the player's freedom to develop our worlds the way we like. Make your own game. Make your own game. This guy is making his own game. Why not? And also, obviously, once again, interracial, I don't know, Same-sex marriages with NPCs. Same-sex marriage cannot make baby. How is that so hard to understand? The universe explanation for birth is stated to be delivered by a stork. We all know what it means. This indicates a more fantastical representation of reproduction. It's just the author not trying to not be, and they fucked, okay? Come on now, it's so obvious. It's just a fade to black, but based on reality. Not one based in hard biological facts. It's about creating a legacy. It's about creating a legacy for your character. Of course they're making baby with each other, come on now. Till there's no continued. They're just gonna take whatever crumb they can find and try to create a castle out of that. So bad. Therefore, it would be trivial to allow same-sex couples to also receive struck babies. It would similarly be trivial to allow interracial couples to receive struck babies corresponding to the race of either parent. These are people that don't know about making games. To be fair, yes, allowing of a baby corresponding to the race of either parent would be probably easy to implement, but at the same time, it wouldn't be really that believable, in my opinion. Also, this guy is making his game. Shut the fuck up. These types of marriages don't need to be represented automatically by the simulation. It does not require the introduction of adoption or surrogacy systems. All it would take is allowing players to choose any spouse they like with no additional consequences. It's always this, right? With no additional consequences. Funny how that works. But your fate on this choice is a clear middle finger to the LGBTQ player base and to anyone who wants to create their soulless worlds the way they want, the user declared. A game is always a closed system made by another guy or group of guys. It is literally impossible to please literally everyone. The only way for me to please literally everyone, you a notebook and some crayons. Make whatever the fuck you want. That is not a video game though. Also, once again, where was I? Ponder your fate on this choice is a clear middle finger to the LGBTQ player base. This is a weird admission that the LGBTQ player base doesn't understand basic biology and how to make baby. I thought we had information now, what happened? Oh man, and to think that people wanted to call this era the era of information. How about the era of disinformation, huh? Cannot believe I'm agreeing to some extent with that Brazilian judge. But I do believe I am correct, and he is wrong. And that's a fact. It is a fact that I believe it. This certain claimed, update. I have reached out to Arthur to try and reach an understanding, and this prompted him to go on unhinged nationalist rant on Twitter against the degenerate race mixers and queers. So at least now we know for sure. Funny how that works. Furthermore, also posted, haircutting marriage to be exclusively heterosexual so that mothers can't even add same-sex marriage. It's really weird, man. The objective is to make baby. To make baby, you need plumbings and men's. You know that? Dick and dick doesn't work. Vagina doesn't work. Dick and vagina, it can work. I have to remind you people, these guys also vote, and their vote counts as much, if not more, than yours. Ignorant posted, games are right, Dave is active but they are also pretty bigoted. Just don't feel comfy playing or recommending a game with a dev like this. In case anyone wants more context, the developer is going on insane homophobic rants over Twitter, and updating his Discord as well. The developer attaches real-world beliefs to game mechanics rather than writing a detached fantasy world, if you can call it writing compared to the first game, wrote Desroar. Perhaps the same could be said about you. Attach real-world beliefs. But in this case, it's more closer to real-world disbeliefs. Esmersky would respond to a number of reviews on Steam writing, "This review is part of a poor attempt at review bombing to make me do hours of extra work for free. I'm not your slave." But I thought Slavic came from the word slave. What happened? It's the other way around, right? I think I fucked that up. It's okay. On Twitter, he also wrote, "They're so mad at me for adding legacy through children to my multi-generational sandbox game." Multi-generational sandbox game. Make baby. That's normal. That's really normal. In another post, he added, "Fine, call me intolerant, but I can't understand a person who looks at the screen and thinks, I must I must fuck everything that moves. I have mutant babies, and please, I don't need to understand. Live and let live." Yes. You had to fuck the mushroom here. Mushroom baby. Do not. Is this what they were referring to as multiracial? Fucking the mushroom? That's wild. He did rather. My grandparents survived the Nazis. My parents endured communism. I had to live through religious oppression since the age of 10. And now some spoiled brats think I'll bend my knee to their rainbow flag, or else they'll type some words. I already have a flag and pride of, he declared. And I don't believe this is like a nationalistic Polish flag. I think the normal flag has the crest here. That might be just me being ignorant. Happens a lot, okay? On August 25th, after the game received 28 negative reviews and 6 positive reviews, according to Steam TV, Esmersky posted, "Just woke up. The lightning didn't hit me. I don't feel cancelled at all. After all, it looks like there was nothing to fear from the oppressive mob." That happens. He added, "Thank you to everyone who went past the single tweet and offered their support and understanding." In follow-up, he shared his initial response and he made above and wrote, "Just my response a week ago. After the response, a week-long activism campaign engulfed all our community channels. So I showed my teeth, the pressure people left, and now we can continue to have fun in peace. Hell yeah." In another post, he addressed the negative review, claiming he hard-coded a way to not have gay merch in the game. "I heard people falsely claim I intentionally hard-coded a way not to have gay merch in mods. I don't think he can do that. I'm pretty sure a mod would be able to undo that if that was the case too. What the hell?" I have to clarify that Soulage 2 is a custom engine, and modding is only configuration based. Interesting. That means there's no way to develop new mechanics or change the simulation through mods, but we have only in-game editors that can help add custom content from players who don't code. That is pretty cool, actually, what the hell? Some games should add, like, that kind of custom mode. I feel like it has been lost to the wind. After fucking Ground shared what was happening with Soulage 2, numerous gamers started playing the game and leaving positive reviews on the game. Rescue declared, "The cavalry has arrived! I'll keep that review bomb as a badge of honor, hoping it will encourage more developers to resist mob pressure and focus on developing the best games they can according to their design goals." He concluded, "Thank you for your support." Yes. Positive review bombing from quote-unquote debased people. It's usually more effective. I feel like some groups are way better at... They want to say review bombing, right? But showing exactly what they want than others. It's funny how that works. Mirsky continued to fire back at the LGBTQ plus activists, leaving negative reviews on the game. The one who described him as an evil person and also an idiot. I don't think this guy is a moron. He's making a game on a custom engine. That's not an easy feat. It takes a lot of work. He wrote, "A vague idiot or your business will be ruined. Nobody will cover your games, because we'll all call you a bigot." Ah, oh man. Doing that voice out of nowhere, it hurts a little bit. This is a prime example of an extremist that want in my community. Plenty of other groups with gamers of every background who just share their passion for games. Also, funny how that works, right? 73.8 hours on record, which is quite a lot of time. 0 hours last 2 weeks. I understand the motivation for this one. As Mirsky also shared, I received many well wishes and expressions of compassion from people who just found out about me. Thank you very much. He continued, "The pressure has been challenging for me and my wife. But what I've read from actual LGBTQ people who also were oppressed by extremists shielding themselves with this label, fellow developers, artists, and gamers, gives me the strength to push through and let these random people continue to expose themselves. How hard will they try to punch a guy making a game because of one design decision and one tweet? No, I'm far from being alone. Thank you again," he concluded. And I think this is once again a fantastic example of something that's been happening for many years already, and people don't understand. Let me highlight it. Actual LGBTQ people also were oppressed by extremists shielding themselves with this label. Once again, the most stupid people on the face of the earth are conflating the terms community with demographic. And that has been massive for the gays, actually. Oh, you are gay? Then that means that you should support the LGBTQ plus whatever community. No, he's just a guy. He's just a guy that likes other guys. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. You don't have shared values, probably. It's so strange to me. Once again, the redefinition of terms to control groups of people, so bad, but it keeps happening. Next, he shared multiple Steam review charts showing the game was receiving more positive reviews than negative reviews. He commented, "It's no longer ugly mixed reviews. The tide has turned. Never give up on your vision for a handful of extremists, and focus on making the best game you wish to share." Is your name attached to it, he wrote, "Be proud of your work, and let it be known." Hell yeah. Mostly positive, holy shit, this is massive, a massive spike. Pretty nice. Most recently, Smarsky posted, "The Emperor has no clothes. There's nothing to fear from the oppressive mob trying to force their ideology. Gamers are for fun, not activism. Don't compromise your design. Find those who can't stand here and know. We'll be there for you if they dare this again." Holy shit, dude. That's big. That's big. As of right in, the game's recent reviews are mostly positive, while all of the reviews are very positive. While they make of Smarsky not catering to the gay mob, and the game is rewarding him for it. Good. Good. This guy has guts. Well done. To the comments here. If only we had been more honest-based, fearless devs like this one. Maybe when the Western game market... Maybe then the Western game will not have fallen. But the reality is we have multi-billion-dollar companies scared of a single tweet from a lone freak. Still, major props to this dev. If you ever read this, keep fighting for your dreams while ignoring the circus outcasts. Don't give an inch and you will be rewarded. Yes, people love it. People love it. I love his response. There's never once inflammatory in any of this. Seriously, they can go play The Sims if that's what they're focused on. Yes, The Sims is already a thing. Yeah, just look at the game. This is what they're getting upset about. It's a strategy game. They try to sexualize Pong at this rate. Yes. Don't blow my nose. But we haven't finished with Soul Last 2 yet, okay? Oh man, I knew that. I knew that. It's getting pretty humid again. There's some pretty thick mist. I do enjoy that. But this is not everything Arthur said, because we have more of his tweets here. This is just from the 28th, I think. So we have a couple of new tweets. Shit, that's long. From the 27th. Let me get to those. I made a final statement to my community. Thank to everyone. Any attempts at pressure continue. They've learned nothing. I'm glad they are coming out so I can quickly ban them. So harsh. So harsh. Throughout this drama, the only thing I shared about my politics was my love for my country and respect for my heritage. I don't even believe that should be a political position. Right? That's my take on nationalism. Hold up, it's gonna be nuclear. Yes, I like my country, and yes, I do wish it was the best it can be. You know why? Because I'm one of the fucking clowns that lives here. Wow! Impressive. That's the end of it. That is the end of it. I'd rather it be good for everyone than to just destroy it. Some people don't even understand that. So strange. I don't even think that's actually nationalism. That's just normal? I live in a place. I want the place to be good. Wow! The hell? Anyway. Far-left extremists don't know how to deal with a apolitical person with a backbone from a foreign culture they've tried to counter assassinate. Yeah, I'm willing to believe that one. After all of this, I will help create a political space for gaming. Any far-wing personalities will have to come to the center's position of live and let live. We can focus on enjoying games, or they will be removed to promote us with their bickerings somewhere else. This is how you fight extremism. And yes, that's the end of it, right? That's the end of it. Oh, but you'd like a Nazi game, would you? No. Actually, no. That's not the point. It's not that I hate this shit because it doesn't have my politics. It's because it has real world politics. That's the problem. We enjoy fun, but we cannot have fun nowadays. Because you have these people trying to inject their political dribble here. No, it's so ass. I have another one. This is actually pretty long. I'm going to skim a little bit. We're probably going to ignore the screenshots, because I'm pretty sure we've seen all of them. Today, I would like to share some of the tactics extremists use to apply pressure and crank up the tension to radicalize me. The purpose is to share knowledge and, hopefully, help others be more prepared when it happens to them. Here are the steps, how I perceive them. Initial probing. No doesn't mean no. Bait everyone. Drag back the developer. Go to developer. Blame the culture war. Advocate social proof of bigotry. Hide the evidence. Huh? Is it over? Right below. We might end up skimming a little bit through this. It doesn't seem to be that long. That's fine. Initial probing. I'm pretty sure we've seen all of these screenshots already. The kindest possible request from the kindest soul you could find. How could anyone say no to that? Think of it as an initial test of your character and perception of the socially delicate topic. It's a better method to reveal why you might not want to do what they want, but of course, it would be best for them if you say yes. I think I handled that well. Yes, the first response. Very normal response to actually a pretty normal question. I mean, the original question wasn't rude or anything, that's what I'm trying to say. You might disagree with the content of it, but that's another topic, right? No, doesn't mean no. Now that the reasoning has been exposed, depending on the response, softening or attacking it directly can still be considered acceptable and be perceived as fine by everyone else. See a screen. Okay, let's see, this is no one. We haven't seen this one. Allow me to rephrase. By same-sex relationship, I mostly just mean adding same-sex marriage. In the same way the current system has been implemented for heterosexual couples. It seems that it doesn't matter the gender in the current system for babies to be made. It doesn't seem like same-sex marriage would affect anything on that end, and it would be a nice way for everyone in your community to be able to be represented across their journeys. My representation, baby. It's always my representation. Are you alive? Yes? You understand what you need to make baby. Jesus Christ. If your response is reasonable, they know they don't have to be reasonable. That's weird. Pushing is intended to annoy you and possibly gather support from more people. As you can see on the screen, same-sex marriages will just work the same way as existing ones, also having babies. Minimal work necessary. It defies reality and pushes further down to reveal far-right bias. Since I showed myself using reason, far-right bias just means understanding reality once again. So ass. It's so ass. If you actually have far-right people here, that would be pretty terrible. Then I showed myself using reason, which can then be pushed further because I mentioned the stork. Or they can go with, it's fantasy, anything I say goes. Do I have to bring up the fucking rings of power? I hope not. This is a baiting attempt. I've ignored it completely, but now, after I've been cancelled already, I would consider using warn or a temporary ban on such attempts. Understandable. 3. I must support and bait everyone. The bait has been laid. It doesn't matter if the developer takes it. Now all players from the community can contribute and push for more arguments, or start earning their labels of bigot. Ah, the bigotry. Only one or the other. It can even be a false flag if the group is organized. Is this American politics? It could be. As it would be easy to fake. Real easy to fake. Screen 1, example of support. Example 2, example of bigotry. I ignored it. At this point, I should bang it already, at least temporarily. I agree. I just stay quiet due to how the responses will inevitably float towards what's common and easier. Harsh. Appears the popularity that equates to a good faith argument either, though. People who bring up this point are mostly looking at the history's flow across every culture through time and wonder at why it would be different in another type of Middle Ages. In another type of Middle Ages world that still has all of the trappings of behavior of the world we recognize. If you can forgive people this inharmonious perception, you'll find them a tad more chill than you might think. If needs must, childless relations will mostly suffice, huh? To go any further without getting crazy fun, need to implement an adoption system. But adoption would probably require orphan NPCs to generate rather than just our intrepid heroes. I don't believe a generation system of that kind exists, though I yearn for one just to see if mod races can plug into it and generate extra creatures outside of civilizations. Don't get me wrong though, I think this is mostly a matter of design depth. Something closer to Dwarf Fortress levels of complexity will give the skeleton for truly wild and fantastic options where this conversation goes. I just don't think this will be that game. This guy here huffs his own farts. I could be inclined to believe that is a false flag. Track the developer. The discussion has been stirred. Instead of enjoying the long-awaited feature, the community argues about same-sex marriage and interspecies reproduction. But the decision maker is silent after the initial response, so it's time to call him out to side against bigots by any means they could reach him. See a screen. That would be... Okay, let's see. No same-sex marriages. I suppose I wouldn't be able to play the character I want to play, which means I want to play. No one will miss you. That marriage between only man and woman. Just as God intended. But last update. God forbid, we have Christians. That would be cool, but unfortunately, as a player that doesn't like being forced to play heterosexual characters, this system isn't available to me. I have 50 hours in Soulish 2. I have loved the game so far, but I feel outcast by both your latest update and its hateful applause. As a player that doesn't like being forced to play heterosexual characters. What a fucking stupid thing to say! This is the exact same kind of people that will project all of their inner thoughts and all of their fetishes on fictional characters. Established fictional characters. If it's your OC, please don't steal, I don't give a fuck. This is a critical step because siding with debaters presents you as taking the side. This is a trap, and I ignored it. I will ignore it again. Good job. Go to developer. I'm very active on our Discord. The discussion started there. That way I couldn't ignore it. I pushed it to the suggestions channel into a topic to at least contain it. The topic is in the link above. You must join Discord. I'm not joining, but I have some screenshots down here. It started reasonably, but then blame the culture war. It's been a week, so everything needs to be cramped. Everyone is a bigot. Targets get angry and lash out. Everything needs to be in flames, and everyone is angry. This is to force the developer to act. And this is when I made my second statement, closing the Discord discussion. I think the topic has run its course. The conversation doesn't have anything to do with making the game better at this point. Poetic drivel at this point, I'm pretty sure. Keeps happening. I've read everything on all channels, and I won't change my mind. I will repeat what I said at the very beginning of this topic on Steam community. I don't plan to implement relationships, sexuality, or sex. This is not what the game is about. And there are a lot of better things to implement ahead. Yeah, that's pretty clear. the emotes. 10 thumbs up. One is cool. 2 clowns. And 1 rainbow flag. I'm looking this topic now. If anyone has a new worthwhile idea to add that will improve the game, feel free to message me in private. Pretty good. Fabricate social proof of bigotry. It keeps happening. This is the most dangerous step of them all. As you can see, up to this point, I've taken a three-team position. Despite these people turning my communities into a dumpster fire of a culture war about a feature I said I wouldn't work on right now. He said that in the first response. We saw that. And that makes sense. This is where the extremists organized to establish social proof of the developer being a bigot and a racist. The purpose of the reviews is not to attack a person's livelihood. It hasn't been a review bomb yet, but to establish proof, to attack the name. As you know, the name is a brand. My name is a brand. I have been making my games for over 5 years, and I promote my business under my personal name, not the name of my business. Brave? That's dangerous. So brave indeed. Okay, but it's like 5 reviews, right? One bot said I should just take it. Wrong. These are 5 reviews with 20 plus likes and multiple community awards showing support. One is enough to share with the world as social proof to paint someone as a bigot. So yeah, screen 1. Sure. We've seen this too already. See, they have a bunch of folk words and whatnot. Not bad. This was when you banned both biggest offenders, the ones shown have low playtime and I assume are just alt accounts, probably, from all my communities. The review about the bag has been edited to remove the name calling and now presents clear proof of repression against LGBTQ. This guy, we've seen this one before too. Keeps happening. I wonder why. They keep changing reality. I wonder why. Hide the evidence. The social proof is being established. Now it's time to clear all the evidence of wrongdoing. They didn't respect my ban because they didn't get to clear everything. This is important for future narratives. It should be known publicly that the word bigot or racist was not used until the developer acted harshly, like banning. Oh, look at this! It's delicious. Deleted post? A bunch of edited posts? I wonder why. This would be fine if he was making this game inside of an early access funding system, but since we are funding him through the stages of his game, I think we should at least be able to have his say and ask questions so we know where he stands. So, with the alphabet people, I mind. Can we currently tonight our secret true plan of hijacking Arthur's game out from under him and making it the big gay fantasy paradise? They're saying this in a mocking way, but this is kind of the truth, actually. They would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you 10 kids and your rascally pet beaver on page 3. What a fucking clown. What a fucking clown. Even their premise is wrong. Yes, you're giving funds to Arthur in this case because it's early access. You don't necessarily have a say in the game. That's how it is. It's still his game. Try to tell you this. You're not a shareholder, I'm afraid. You just bought the game. This is why I took the offensive to Twitter. I wrote a strongly worded tweet to express my heart and grab everyone's attention so that ordinary people couldn't resist and move past it. I taunted the extremists to reveal themselves by belittling them. Then I did address them directly, fanning their flames by not giving them attention, and explain what was happening to every good person who came across this and was willing to listen. That's why I started gaining public support thanks to people like Roms, who took notice and reached out to help. The initial 4 million views hate retweet became an advertisement against the rainbow extremist cause, and you can see the rest of my timeline. Yep. Is it over? It could be. Could be over. The extremists can't stand losing, so they continue to grasp at the straws and bait the community. They still come to my communities and try to spin lies, so I keep banning them immediately. The good thing is that we've resumed normal operations with a huge activity boost in Discord and Steam. Many such cases. The good thing? Yeah, I just read that. Stop it. They try to paint everyone in my community as homophobes or far-right. But if you see who is on r/roguelikes from my discussion with their mods, you can see that everyone from these extremists is to the right, including centrists from half across the globe like me, who they view as leader of a neo-Nazi and anti-LGBTQ after this whole controversy. You're evil. You must be a Nazi. Checks out, I suppose. But I continue not to address them directly and make my stance clear that I'm building apolitical spaces. It's not on them to be pulled to us. And it's on them to be pulled to us, not me to them. How would you have handled this tag? Let me know. If you found this insightful, consider retweeting the initial tweet to spread awareness. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And yes, they will always try to cheat. They will always try to get you. And you know what we say to them? No, fuck you. What the hell's wrong with you? Come on now. You don't need to get out to them. This guy is making his own game. He's happy doing it. And now he has garnered massive support from people that's just so tired of the current thing. That is a flawless victory, I'm gonna say. But I have 2 more things for today, and it's gonna end up being like 2 hours, like every fucking set today. It's fine. I have a couple of posts here from Carlitos Rambo, and I think they're real interesting. There are some screenshots from motherfucking Paul Tassi being a fucking moron yet again. Isn't it funny how they try to hide the big, fat elephant in the room, which is the de&i field premise of the sprites, and that it played a huge role in their failure? They do it because they want to manipulate the general audience's perception, so they won't notice how impactful the gaming community anti-de&i boycott is. By the way, the sensitive snowflake blocked me a few days ago because he likes this toaster. Rude, but understandable. WoW classes. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. This was a WoW version of the Arkham universe, in which characters like Harley Quinn were more conservatively dressed than previously, and there were things like pride flags hanging out in base headquarters. A consulting agency named Sweet Babies was used in the development of the game to advise on making things overly inclusive. And that's their job, to be fair. Reality, Suicide Squad failed unmightily because it was a live service game, after Rocksteady had made its entire fanbase devoted to its single-player superhero offerings. And not a particularly good one at that. It was a goofy concept, giving all Task Force X members the same guns, few differences in powers, and aborting a storyline halfway through to do a live service concept, which featured a dozen brainiac copies, all based on an IP with one critically savage movie and one box office failure on the DCEU. Supposedly what critics scored the game in 60, one of the lowest major releases of the year. This game is gay, and also it's really bad. But I do have to remind people that being de&i infested doesn't mean pride flags and black characters. That means having the correct opinions, hiring people that probably don't deserve it, and trying to push the message. Always remember that. Always remember that. Conquered. Perception. Usually that failed because it's... That's wrong, it's, you stupid clown. Its heroes were not attractive enough, and they were virtue signaling by putting pronouns in their selected streams. Conquer started development right after Overwatch launched in 2016, and arrived to the shooter landscape data with an ill-conceived 40 USD price tag in a free-to-play landscape, and failing to meaningfully stand out from its competition. Its character designs were poor, not for hazardous reasons, but because of a lacking aesthetic that other games, with plenty of similarly sized and aged characters, had done much better. Supposedly what critics scored the game is 65, lower than all its multiplayer rivals. Do you want to know why this piece of shit took 80 years to be made? Because they have a bunch of incompetent people, most probably. I wonder why. They have the correct opinions, so they have to be good, I suppose. The Acolyte! Oh, hold up, this is not a game. This is not a game, what do you mean? Obsession. The WoW series feature essentially no white male characters and focus on a cult of space witches. At least a pair of which were lesbians. I forgot to change my voice. The Chowdar is a lesbian and her wife isn't the Chow. This is broke canon and disrespected true Star Wars fans. This cancellation was even celebrated by Elon Musk, who declared the series went broke and went broke. It's get woke, go broke, okay? Let's get it right. As it is the eternal mantra of this rip. The show cost 180 million USD to make. It was the least watched Star Wars show, which is not a surprise, given that it was trying to tell a story with wholly original characters and no connections to the Skywalker era. Every time people said it broke canon, upon close inspection, it did not in fact break canon, and critics either misunderstood the source material or were claiming Legends was still canon. Cast the viewership was the reason it was cancelled. I don't think this is the perception. This is the perception that Paul Tassi has. But this is not what the detractors are saying. They're telling you, it's ass. How do you have 180 million USD and the series looks that bad? They barely know how to act. And it was ass. How many times do I have to say this? Yes, they did in fact break canon. The Disney canon too, which is funny how that works. And it was not because they had whole original characters and no connections to the Skywalker era. It's because the characters were nonsensical, as far as I've seen. I have a couple more, right? Yes. At the time, he pretends that the success of the non-de&i games have nothing to do with the fact that those games refuse to fill their narratives with political agendas and have attractive female characters. Also have many Chinese colleges here in Japan, and they all were pretty much aware of the controversies involving game science and Black Myth Wukong. Stellar Blade. Perception. The game was a big hit for AAA newcomer Shift Up because it embraced the idea that real gamers want attractive women in their games, and they were provided plenty of fan service outfits to fulfill that desire. Reality, Stellar Blade is a solid action game. On the whole, a reviewed well-known video game journalist throwing an 81 on Metacritic, unheralded as a great first effort for Shift Up. Yes, it is a good game because they don't worry about the politics of it all. Helldivers 2, not a good example. A game about killing bags and bots, and without woke agendas, it was a celebration of the kind of patriotism the left fails to embrace in the modern era. The entire game is based on Starship Troopers, a very clear, theme-skewering of those very concepts. Journalists scored the game in 8-2, and it has been, in conversation as a possible, if not likely, Game of the Year shortlist candidate. Once again, it's making fun of you! It's making fun of you! Paul Tassi, you won't understand. Irony, even if it hit you in the face with its stick. First Descendant. Perception. And the PvE shooter is full of attractive women, which is responsible for its surging popularity. As live play has so far been introducing more attractive women, to ensure its ongoing success. Reality, the game succeeds mainly because it's a well-structured looter with meaningful progression systems and endless targeted farms. It struggles with RNG, however, and the game has seen perceptive player drops, down from 265,000 on Steam to 40,000 in a couple of months. Do we have to check the numbers on Helldivers 2? They're not better than this. So its long-term future is uncertain. Because the game is good and it tries to be a good game. That's why it works. Not because it's anti-de&i, it's just because de&i is not a thing here. So easy to understand! So easy to understand. Black Myth Wukong. Game Media wanted this game to fail based on an IGN article that discussed sexism within game science in the past, and its success is a blow against woke agendas. We've seen many people complaining about diversity in Wukong. Okay? So shut the fuck up. And yes, I'm talking about the game journals. Once again, shut up. The game is saying absolutely crushing massive hit in China, where no one is considering any of these controversies when purchasing a game. Games journalists scored the game a very positive 81. It's always fucking manipulation with these guys. It's so ass. It's so ass. The point, it's not being from the other side of the politics, it's just ignoring the politics of it all. And to finish for today, we have, oh, a beautiful disaster. I love them. Baldur's Gate 3 publishing narrator says almost all games should cost more at a base level because they cost so much to make. Maybe you should make good games that sell a lot. How about that? Maybe these games don't need to cost so much to make. How about that? I was just waiting for GTA 6 to do it, lol. Let's see how that works. Let's see how that works for GTA 2. I mean, GTA 6 also. Baldur's Gate 3 publishing director Michael Deuce has reopened the topic of video game prices being very modest for what those games offer. What do they offer? Huh? Now tell me, what do they offer? Being breaking messes? Sure want to pay more. Is that a guy from Ubisoft? Commented that the pricing of blockbusters like the recent Star Wars Outlaws has not kept pace with the rising development costs and general economic inflation. You want to give an example, and it is Star Wars Outlaws, which I've seen the clips. It looks really bad, it looks really ugly, it seems to be infested with bugs, and yes, I'm talking about programming and not funny enemies. To the point where people paid more than $100 to play it 3 days earlier, only to just lose their save data? Not the best example, let me tell you. I mention it a lot because it's this game that has sparked Deuce's thoughts. Writing on the artist formerly known as Twitter, it's not even X anymore, it's just formerly known as Twitter. Is this Prince? He shared an image of the new Ubisoft Games Ultimate Edition, which encompasses the base offering in a sack of season pass content and collector goodies, such as a digital art book, together with the nowadays routine promise of pre-release access couldn't be me. That suggests that special editions such as these are a way of artificially hiking prices without, strictly speaking, saying that you're doing so. Yet, the product is worse. Funny how that works. I love the artificiality of pricing a structured sports retail. That was wrote. Here's the inflated base price. To upsell a subscription, and use big content promises to inflate ultimate editions to make the base price look better. It all seems a bit dangerous and disconnected from the community. Just like you, baby boy. That was added. I think a game should be priced accordingly with its quality, breadth, and depth. I agree. I do agree with that. But at the same time, where's the quality, where's the breadth, and where's the depth? Nowhere to be seen! And that publishers should be more upfront and honest about wanting to charge more for games. Sure. People nowadays are really skeptical about buying new games. It's only gonna be worse, mate. It's only gonna be worse. Rather than putting out special editions that muddy the picture, almost all games should cost more at a base level, because the cost of making them, inflation for one, is outpacing price and dance, he wrote. But I don't think we'll get there with DLC promises so much as quality and communication. Everyone's just waiting for GTA 6 to do it, lol. Let's see what happens. Once again, let's see what happens. It seems important to remember here that Larian's own Baldur's Gate 3 also had more expensive special editions encompassing a mix of digital and physical bonuses. Presumably, Deuce regards those editions as above board. I'll let you be the judge. I don't want to bother. That aside, he's far from the only senior industry figure to argue that the cost of making games like Outlaws is out of whack with pricing. The game doesn't even look good. You want me to pay, what, $100 for that? You would have to pay me $100 to play that. Unironically. The mention of GTA 6 out in 2025 reminds me of Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick's comments from an earnings call last year that industry prices are very, very low versus the number of hours of playing time games offer and prior perception of their value. Oh baby, I want to pay more for bad games. Stop it. I remember reading through this article, but still. Zelnick added, however, that this conviction of giving you a lot for a little doesn't necessarily mean that the industry has pricing power or wants to have pricing power. In other words, Take-Two and other publishers aren't about to impose a broad price jump on their audience, because they know they can't. If they could, they will. Make no mistake about it. I imagine GTA 6 could get away with it. GTA 6 might, but I'm not quite sure yet. Capcom's president, Haruchiro Tsumoto, has gone further than Zelnik, noting via Kotaku that development's budgets have shot up 100 times. I just don't believe it. Since the heyday of the Famicom in the 90s. Speaking at last year's Tokyo Game Show with regards to the Japanese games industry in particular, Tsujimoto argued that considering the fact that wages are rising in the industry as a whole, I think rising unit prices is a healthy option for business. What are you talking about? People have less buying power day by day. You want to collapse your industry? Sure, go on. Let's see what happens. Also, this 100 times could be accurate, because back in the day, you had like 30 people making a single game. Now you have thousands. And there's also a problem, in my opinion. You can probably cut some fat from that. Here's a piece about the pricing/budget question from the Financial Times, published in January this year, which includes a JP Morgan analysis of present trends in the USA specifically. The cost of developing a AAA game has risen approximately tenfold over 15 years, and the customer has probably not noticed much. It reads, "Our pricing power means the standard storefront price has risen only 70% since 2007, from 60 to $70. People have less buying power than back in the day. Also, if games cost more to make, that sounds like a you problem. I don't want to pay more for games like Outlaws, and I'm mistrustful of pronouncements from people higher up the ladder about what their flagship games should cost. Most of the things, it seems unlikely that the actual developers of those games would automatically benefit from any rise in revenues. Many such cases. Executives, really greedy, nothing new. If the past few years have taught us anything, it's that rank-and-file devs are considered disposable, my bad, where leadership are not. Funny how that works. It's also worth reiterating that there's a difference between a video game making its money back and a video game making enough money for its investors. Really good point. As one developer told me during an interview about Embracer's gutting of Curse Dev's Fish Labs, we make a shitload of money, but it doesn't go back into the games. I wonder why. I do agree that the cost/price ratio for blockbuster games such as Star Wars Outlaws looks very healthy on paper. Attempts to fill the gap have led, amongst other things, the present glut of live service seasonal content games, which basically rely on players devoting time and money to them at the expense of trying anything else. Also really bad for the customer in my opinion. The cost/price discrepancy has also contributed to the current heavy promotion of generative AI technologies, just to cut costs, it always happens, which publishers often tout as a way of magically shrinking budgets, while talking around the implications for the workforces. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not good enough. But I think there are larger, trickier questions at stake involving the culture and perception of AAA games as, basically, exercises in being inevitably unsustainable. Maybe it's time for AAA to die. Maybe they became too massive, that happens. Sometimes, I think games such as Outlaws are sold and bought purely on the strength of the idea that they represent unholy expenditure of resources. Capitalism at its most decadent, doomed and spectacular, where you can all but feel the game burning a hole in the universe while you play. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's just the idea. Oh, Star Wars has to sell. No, you have to make a game still. Write a piece for Edge before joining RPS, that is Rock Paper Shotgun. It's the site, which traced the AAA concept to its apparent origins in the 90s. Based on interviews with various industry executives, red flags all around. The nearest that piece came to working original definition was that AAA games are games with budgets so huge they cannot possibly fail. Oh, how the turns have tabled, my guy. So bad. Which is not a formulation that has aged well. Yeah, pretty much. AAA games lately have been struggling a lot. I wonder why. I don't think there's anything in this world, actually, that is too big to fail. Everything can fail. It might take time, but everything can fail. While the biggest of the big leaguers toy with the prospect of price increases, some publishers continue to experiment with various incarnations of mid-tier blockbuster, which offer the impression of AAA LRGs and a center budget. Here's a tagline, for example, on why shorter standalones like the recently announced Dying Light the Beast are the future of games. And to be fair, AA and indies have been flourishing. I've been flourishing a lot lately, and that is really good. As we have seen, Soul Edge 2 sounds good. I would need to try it first, but it sounds good to me, right? I don't know. It's as per usual, the misguided promise of eternal growth. It's not gonna happen. I don't know how to tell you this. It's not gonna happen. Oh man. If they collapse, I'm gonna say they deserve it. But it's time for me to take my leave. We went for the usual amount of time, so that's okay. No Rings of Power for us, it's not looking good. But no Rings of Power for us. So, thank you for coming. I heard you had some fun, and actually, we'll see you all on Monday with some more Hacker's Memory. I have to keep playing through that thing. You know the rules. Until then, take care.